Red Sox fans have longed to hear it. The Boston Red Sox are world champions. Game over, series over, and the Red Sox are world champs again. And so are these fans. It hasn't happened at Fenway Park for 95 years. The Red Sox are world champions.
Boston organization has been well run for a long time now. From the top on down, here comes a 1-2 pitch. Red Sox win the World Series. 5-1 the final tonight. And the best team in baseball wins it all in 2018.
The Red Sox have won the World Championship. The Boston Red Sox beat the Los Angeles Dodgers 5-1. They win the World Series 4-1. And the Red Sox become the first team in the 21st century with 4 World Championships. Can you believe it?
Man, welcome to episode 3 of an unofficial Red Sox podcast, the Pesky Podcast. I am the Ritt, and here with me is my co-host, DC Derek Cartwright. What's going on, DC? How you doing?
What's up, buddy? Excited for the weekend. Glad to be off work, you know.
Oh,
Join the
man.
vibe.
Hey, excited to be off work, but the grind still goes. You know, doing a podcast is a 6-day-a-week job. 7 if you're not watching any games, which is just not fun. Man, we're in the middle of spring training, undefeated. Man, this train is just moving right along. We can't lose.
Yeah, if we ain't losing, we're tying. So I'll take it, man. Especially in spring training.
Yeah, hey, we have to look at a lot of young arms. Got to look at a lot of young talent going on. But man, first 2 episodes dropped. They're doing really well. Episode 3 is just going to get bigger and better. So, hey, let's get started. So we got a battle at first base coming into spring training, and Tristan Casas, Throbby D, Bobby Dalbec. Which one do you want to sit there and take the pros and the cons for?
Let's start with Casas.
Okay, Tristan Casas. Man, he's the future of first base for the Boston Red Sox. They're high on this kid. Man, spring training, he's doing really well so far. But we're going to sit there and head on over to Twitter here, and we're going to check out a little quote from my man Tristan. Tristan Casas expectations for his first season in the bigs. He quotes, "I think I'm the best I've ever felt athletically, physically, mentally. I'm in the best shape I've ever been in, and I think my skills match up with anybody at first base. The kid does not lack any confidence." What are your thoughts on him saying that?
I like it. I'm sure he probably turned a couple heads, you know, saying he's better than anybody else as far as first base. But you need that confidence when you're playing in Boston. So I'm a big fan of that. Talk about it, but be about it, though. So he needs to back this up, you know, into the season, and I think he will.
Yeah. Hey, Tristan's been doing a lot of head turning so far in spring training here. You know, people sit there and wanted to bring up talking about him painting his nails, his pre-game ritual, you know, that he had last year. Well, what are your thoughts and opinions on that?
On his nails and just the pre-game ritual?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be frank with you, man. I don't give a fuck if you paint your nails, your toenails, your goddamn face. If you hit bombs, I love you. I could give 2 fucks.
Exactly.
To be frank.
That's my opinion too. Pre-game ritual, a lot of people in the locker room and said you have to get to know the personality to know, him. Some people sit there and said they thought it was kind of an ego thing, walking around with no shirt on, sunbathing in the outfield. But hey, whatever it takes, yeah, you're in the bigs. But in my opinion is if that's your ritual and that's what gets you your mindset going to continuously hit bombs, hit the ball, put it in play, then, why not? He got well, there was rumor on I read on Twitter from one of the reporters saying that one of the starting pitchers didn't really care for it too much and kind of pulled him to the side. So, well, what are your thoughts then?
I mean, I'm not with the unwritten rules of the game. I think with all the changes and it's driven by young players, so let them do what they do. You know what I mean? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And if that's what he's done, throughout his playing days and through the minors, then I don't see an issue with it. I think it might have just been blown up a little more than it really was in the media. I mean, Alex Cora did comment on it, said there was some not necessarily growing pains, but there was adjustments that needed to be made. I think if he comes out and he hits 30 home runs and bats 260, 270, they're going to let him do it. It doesn't, you know what I mean? I just think the clubhouse was kind of in turmoil already last year with a bunch of stuff that I don't think that really came out. I think it's a non-issue. I think he performs. I don't really care what he does before the game. You want to sing the ABCs in the outfield, man, do it. As long as you're hitting bombs, like I said earlier, it's not a big deal. The young players fuel this game. So eventually they're going to be the vets. Let him do what he does.
Hey, I love how the game is evolving. The game is changing. Man, our man Jared Carabas always sits there and talks about bat flips, when you're hitting bombs. Man, let them have fun, let them be them as long as they are not putting a bad reputation on the game, on the team, on the organization. Let them have fun, from kids in T-ball to little league, high school. Man, I understand that, you got to sit there and have a sports etiquette, show sportsmanship. But if you're not having fun while you're doing it, then what's the point of playing?
Exactly. I'm a big fan. Shout out Jared Carabas. He's actually probably my favorite writer in sports, to be honest with you. So shout out to him. But I agree with him, man. Let the bat flips go. It adds excitement to the game. We want to bring in fans, then that's the way to do it. That's what these kids these days like. But I don't really care about the off-field stuff or even like the rituals. As long as you're performing and you're doing your job, you're showing up every day, you're making the workouts, you're putting the work in at the tee and the batting cages. I think that's all irrelevant at that point.
Exactly. So let's go to the other side of first base. Throbby D, Bobby Dalbec. Let's sit there and man, let's got a little thing from Twitter over here. Bam. Sean McAdams sit there and reports Bobby Dalbec hit a ball and BP that cleared the fence and struck a boy in his stomach. EMTs arrived to attend to him and brought him over to meet Dalbec, who gave him a signed ball. Man, could you imagine batting practice? You're out there watching, and all of a sudden you get drilled in the stomach by a home run by Bobby Dalbec.
That'd be wild, man. I'm not trying to shit on the little kid, but I hope he was at least not looking and it hit him. Because you're staring at a ball coming right at you and it hits you in the stomach. No, that's something he'll never forget. I mean, it sucks that I'm glad he's okay. He obviously looks okay in the picture, but that's a cool moment for him. He'll never forget that. And honestly, probably make Bobby Dalbec his favorite player.
Exactly. I met Bobby Dalbec last year when he was down in AAA when he got sent down. Man, he sat there and he hit 3 home runs that game, and it was against the Rail Riders. Got him to sign my jersey. Hey, it's one of my 2 signed jerseys I have, and I already have a Bobby Dalbec signed bat, signed ball. The dude, this in spring training, he's amazing at. If he can just transfer that to the regular season, man, he could definitely be a battle at first base. He can definitely make the roster, opening day roster, which we're going to talk about a little bit later. The stats are there, What are your thoughts?
As far as the first base, I'll just kind of put it all together. I'll bring in Dalbec and Casas and just give you what I would do if I was the manager. On paper, and honestly, even through this point of the spring training, I think Casas is the number 1 option at first base. I think Dalbec is a perfect bench player. With the versatility of the lineup, we can move him in to third base, first base, DH. So if he's on the bench, it doesn't necessarily mean he's always going to be on the bench. They're both doing really well in spring training. Casas, I believe, is 3 for 9 with a home run and 4 RBIs. Dalbec is 4 for 9, 3 doubles and a home run. And I think he has like 2 RBIs or something like that. That's good to see. I would go Casas. Dalbec makes me nervous as far as the longevity of a season. He did well 2020, shortened season. I believe it was his rookie year. He came up, he knocked a decent amount of home runs in a short amount of time. And then 21 and 22 have been kind of But I would go Casas and then Dalbec off the bench. And then, you can move him around to third and DH. But I'd definitely I'm going Casas.
Yeah. I'm with you all the way there. Go a little deeper in the stats. They both got 9 at bats. They both got 1 home run apiece. Dalbec has the 444 batting average. Casas has the 333. Dalbec has 2 ribbies. Casas has 4. Dalbec struck out 4 times, and that is what made me take Casas over him, just because Casas only struck out twice, so he has a little more plate discipline, and he's able to at least put the ball in the play a little bit. OPS 500 for Dalbec, 333 for Casas. Dalbec has 1 walk, Casas has none. So the biggest thing that got me there is Dalbec's been in the majors now for just going on his 3rd season. He doesn't have that plate discipline yet. Like when he makes contact, it goes. But man, you can't sit there and be striking out 4 times out of 9 at bats. That can't help your team out whatsoever.
No, that's been one of the biggest things with him, especially last year. There was a lot of times where he came up to the plate at a big moment late in the game, and he struck out. He strikes out too much, in my opinion. I know that's kind of like the norm in this game. It's low batting average, high strikeouts, for the hitters, but we can't afford that this year. We need consistency after out of first base, and I just don't think he can do it for a full year. I could very well be wrong. I want him to succeed, obviously, but I need to see something else, see some more out of him. And I think, maybe coming off the bench and, being in a utility role in his 3rd and 4th year, I think that'll kind of light a fire under his ass. And I don't know. His strikeouts are just a little concerning, and he doesn't really have too much discipline up there.
Man, over the years, we've had some great people that came off the bench in big situations. Mitch Moreland, Travis Shaw,
Steve Pearce.
Steve Pearce. They were all able to come off the bench in high situations and come through. I don't see Bobby Dalbec being able to do that. Like what situation are you going to bring him in? Bottom of the 9th, you have runners in scoring position, 2 outs, and do you put in Bobby Dalbec? I don't know. I don't see that.
I don't either. No, I agree. Yeah, I I don't have too much faith in him, and I hate to say that because honestly, the last 2 years I've been very, very excited for him. He just kind of let us down.
Great person, great personality. You know, the city of Boston loves this guy. It's just Bobby's got to put all the pieces together.
Yeah. I mean, there's not much else to say other than that, which really sucks because I mean, I've been high on him for years, and I'm really hope he puts it together this year. And I think there's a possibility, but he's got to cut down on his strikeouts. He's got to work the count a little bit better in his favor. I think he's a little too aggressive sometimes early in the count when he doesn't need to be. But I agree.
So let's sit there and go right to the next topic. Opening day starting lineup. I know I know Alex Cora has been talking off and on about, okay, I want to do this. Now he's backpedaling a little bit with Yoshida. He said that Turner's always going to probably follow Devers, but then the following day, Yoshida was batting first. Devers was following Turner. So pretty much Alex Cora is just throwing everything out there, trying to find the perfect lineup. So opening day, March 30th, Baltimore Orioles. We're going to go back and forth, kind of like we did for the starting rotation, like we did on episode 2. We're going to go who's batting leadoff. I'll let you, DC, start it off.
Yeah, so before the reports came out of AC's comments about Yoshida, I would honestly have him slotted in leadoff. But for this one, after hearing that, I'm going to go Kike, number 1.
Oh, yes. Kike. You're going to go Kike.
Shout out, John.
Yeah. I'm going to go leadoff with a guy that I'm high on this year. He's going to put it all together. We're going to give me number 99, Verdugo. I see the upside with Verdugo leading off to where he can start the game off really well. He has good speed to get on base, but also he could be like Mookie Betts was, and open the game up with a home run. I see that from Verdugo. He's going to put it all together. He's going to be the opening day start number 1. Number 2, I'll go first. We're gonna go with Raffy Scoops. We're gonna go Devers, number 2. It's gonna be the only time back-to-back lefties.
Okay. I also have Devers as number 2. I want him to bat third, to be honest with you. I'm with the whole old school thinking where you have your best hitter as a number 3 hitter, kind of like David Ortiz was in the early 2000s all the way through his career. I think he'd be better in the 3rd spot, but you get him in the 2 spot, he's going to get a couple extra ABs than he would in 3. Not too many more, but get some more opportunities. He can kind of set the table in number 2 more than he would be able to in 3 to start off the game. But yeah, I have him as number 2 in my lineup as well.
Nice. Number 3, who do you got?
Number 3, I have Justin Turner. I think he will follow Devers in the lineup. He's a vet guy. He can protect him a lot better, I think. You could be a lot more comfortable with him being a vet, protecting him until you see what the younger guys can do throughout the season. If you want to move do any adjustments to the lineup, move anybody up or down. But I'm going to go Justin Turner for number 3 in the lineup.
That is also who I have. I have him because he's very patient at the bat. He won't sit there and strike out very often. So you got to pitch to him because say you got Verdugo and Devers on base already, you can't walk them. So absolutely. I also have Turner following Devers at number 3. Number 4, I've got Yoshida batting cleanup, just because that is where he's comfortable at. He did it in Japan. So far in spring training, he just smashes the ball. He's a doubles machine. He's going to be really familiar with the Green Monster. And he also can pull the ball the other way when need to. So I have him being the complete package at number 4.
And I have Yoshi as well as number 4. Before the comments, I would have put him in leadoff, but I think he'll be slotted into number 4, maybe number 5. But I definitely think you got to put him in at least the middle. You got to have his bat in there as much as possible.
Exactly. Number 5, who do you have?
So number 5, I have Adam Duvall.
Okay.
I think with his power, he won't hit a high average, but I think that's a perfect spot for him. Hopefully, the guys ahead of him can get on base. I think he does very well this year. I think he put some holes in the monsters. Sorry.
I have another patient, a very good plate disciplined guy. I have Tristan Casas at number 5. You know, he can hit the ball and play, but he also be patient and get on base and take that walk. It's gonna be a little harder to strike him out, and you don't want to sit there and have to worry about trying to pitch around him, because afterwards, my number 6 guy is Duvall. So I kind of did it a little differently. I have Duvall kind of protecting Casas to let him see those balls a little bit more. Where Duvall, if you make a mistake, Casas gets on base, Duvall's going to make you pay for it. So I have Duvall at number 6.
All right, number 6 for me, I actually have your boy Verdugo. That's where I have him. I need to see a consistent bat through the whole season for him to even think about moving him up. I know we differ opinions on him. I know he was hurt last year. That played a lot into his numbers, but being the main piece of the Mookie Betts deal, I need to see more out of him. I know he wants to succeed. I know he wants to be in Boston, which is awesome, but I need to see it all come together. So I have him at 6, which isn't really a bad spot to be in, to be honest with you, in this lineup.
No, definitely. For the same reasons I'm putting the ball at 6 as you're putting Verdugo at 6.
Absolutely.
So,
and then number 7, I actually have Tristan Casas. So I think eventually, mid-season, I think he's going to move up. I think he'll be a number 5 hitter, maybe bump down Duvall or Verdugo, depending if anybody else is struggling. I just don't think Alex Cora is going to put him in the middle of the lineup right away. Maybe kind of ease him into it. I could be wrong. I think he's going to have an excellent year. But I think he goes in. I think, me personally, I would put him at number 7, see what he can do, get him comfortable. I know he was up last year for a little bit, but it's a different game when you go in for the full season. So we'll see what happens with that.
I got at number 7, Arroyo. Just because I love his bat. I really hope he stays healthy and he's able to produce, because when he was healthy last year, he put up some great numbers. We went over the numbers
and the year before,
weeks ago. Yeah. So when he's healthy, he's a solid hitter. So I really hope that his bat and his glove are there for us. Give me at least 135 games. I'm not asking for much. Just a small 135. And I really think that this lineup, top to bottom, if they all are producing, you can't try to bat around anybody. And Arroyo is just like the rest of them. When he's hot, he's hot. So that's who I have at number 7. Number 8, I got McGuire. I think that he could sit there and produce and drive in runs from the end of the lineup. You got a lot of people that can get on base in front of him. And for the small sample size last year, in 36 games, he batted .333. with 3 home runs, 12 RBIs. So in a small sample size, I see it happening where he can do damage in the back of our lineup.
Yeah, I mean, he showed he could hit when he got traded over to us. For number 8, I have Christian Arroyo. I think it all comes down to health with him. 2 years ago, I mean, when we made it to the ALCS, he had a lot of timely hits throughout the season, and he got hurt a couple times. And he honestly would have put a very, very good season together as far as a utility role. I'm excited to see what he could do with a full season of health. 135, I think, is obtainable, but I wouldn't be surprised if he played like 100, 120 just by the track record. But if he does play a whole season, that's not a bad number 8 hitter to have.
Exactly. And like we discussed in last week's episode, he doesn't have to play the field every game. We can slide him into that DH spot, give him a day or two rest, and maybe that's what can help him stay healthy this season.
Yeah, I mean, because we have Mondesi on the bench, he can come in for second base, give Justin Turner a break and throw Arroyo in the DH there. Like, we have a lot of versatility as far as that, which is good because, as we said numerous times in the last 2 episodes and today, it all boils down to health. So we need that versatility and the ability to kind of shift things around.
Okay, number 9.
Number 9, I have McGuire or / Alfaro, I think, when he takes over the starting job throughout the season.
Number
and
9.
With that said, actually, I apologize really quick.
Oh, go ahead.
I don't know if you saw it, but Connor Wong actually injured his hamstring. So that could be very crucial in the catcher position battle that we talked about, last show. So I think that kind of solidifies McGuire and Alfaro. Like I said, we don't know how serious it is yet, but hamstrings aren't fun, especially not early in spring training.
And especially not for being a catcher either.
Yeah.
So in number 9, I've got my man Kike. So he's going to add as the number 9 hitter to his resume.
Yeah. I mean, wouldn't be a bad number 9 hitter to have. I think
exactly.
I think he comes out and I think he breaks this year. He's got a chip on his shoulder, and I'm really excited to see what he's going to do with that.
So, okay, those are 9. We can have 13 batters on our opening day roster. 13 pitchers, 13 batters. We already got 9 spots. I'm going to put you on the spot right now. Let's go back and forth. Who else are you bringing for the bench?
Bringing Mondesi.
Is he going to be available for opening day, though?
If he's healthy, I'm bringing Mondesi.
Okay.
I would. That would be my choice. Probably number 1. I think he's one of our most valuable. Ref Snyder, obviously, he proved he can play, and he loves Boston. I like him a lot. Dalbec, I think, obviously, you can't send him down. I think you got to keep him up in the majors. I think he's done everything he can in the minors, so you got to keep him up there. So that's 12, I believe. And then Alfaro, obviously. We need a catcher on the bench. So I'm going to go Mondesi, Ref Snyder, Dalbec, and Alfaro.
Okay, I'm going to go Alfaro, opening day. He'll be there sitting on the bench. I'm going to go also Ref Snyder. I'm going to go man. What's the guy's name? No. The Japanese guy we signed. Because I don't think Mondesi's gonna be ready.
The Chang?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Mondesi's gonna be ready. So he's gonna be
he's probably gonna be a month or 2 before he gets in. Now that I'm reading about it.
And then I'm gonna be with you with Dalbec for now.
Yeah, like I said, I think he's done everything he can in the minors. Keep him up in the majors, give him the at-bats, because he's going to get at-bats.
There's one guy that we're gonna sit there and talk about a little bit later that he might be really close getting in. He might be really close. Like, he's got one heck of a case. He's got one heck of a case why he deserves to be on the opening day roster, and he's got all of OJ's lawyers ready to present that thing.
Shapiro.
Oh, man. But right there, we definitely sit there, and both of our lineups have slight similarities. They also have slight differences. But I think either one through 9, we got a very solid lineup either way.
Yeah, comes down to health, and it just comes down to the young guys performing. And then obviously Yoshida, see how he adjusts to major league pitching, and I think he'll put it together. But yeah, a lot of question marks, but best case scenario, man, we can make a run.
Man, one thing I loved watching and loved listening to in spring training is I love listening to the players being mic'd up. Like, it brings a different level to the game. You get to see the personalities where you really normally wouldn't. But what are your thoughts on mic'd up?
I love mic'd up. I've loved it since the NFL did their thing with it. I wish the MLB would do a lot more. I know they've been doing a lot with it the last 2 years. I believe with Sunday Night Baseball, they get one guy go do an interview during in the dugout and then out in the field. I think that's really cool. And then what they do with the All-Star game while they're batting, they do it, or they're pitching. But even like now they're bringing in the spring training, it just adds a lot. It makes it easier for the fans to connect with the players on a personal level. They see a side of them that they don't really know. You know what I mean? We see them in their competitive nature on the field. We don't really know how they are off the field. You look at Chris Sale. I love him to death, but if you're playing against him, he looks like one of the biggest assholes ever to play against. But that's what you want on your team. But he also strikes me as a really good dude in the clubhouse. I remember there was a story last year, the year before, when he did a rehab stint in the minors, and he pretty sure he paid for them all to fly private, and then bought them all dinner and all that when he was with the team. So it's just cool to see and hear them interact with each other in a different light that we never were able to see. So it's cool to see that. I just think it adds fun to the game. We're trying to build the game, obviously, get younger fans. And I think that's the way to do it, especially in this day and age of social media, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and all that stuff. So I think it's cool as hell.
Yeah, man, being mic'd up last year, that's actually how my fiance went and was like, man, that Christian Arroyo guy, I kind of like him. He's got personality, and then I looked at her. I was like, wait, what? Like, how do you know? And she's like, no, I'm sitting here like watching a game, because she watches with her daughter and stuff, because her daughter's a huge Red Sox fan now, huge Red Sox fan. The fiance not so much, because I can't even get her to listen to this podcast.
Listen to the podcast.
But no, she's like, man, no, like they had him mic'd up and he has some great personality. I'm like, oh, okay. Because everybody, especially, last year, you got Xander Bogaerts, JD, Devers, Vasquez was over there. It's like, man, like, okay, your favorite guy is Arroyo? I'm like, okay, I can't sit there and say that you're, oh, you only like this guy because he's, the face of the. No, she likes one of the everyday players that just grind.
Yep. No, it's cool as hell.
Yeah, so let's take a little look at a little segment of Mic'd Up.
Man, Duran looks like a free safety. Duran, how do we feel about WBC? Are we excited to play for Team Mexico? What's your favorite lift to do in the gym? Biceps? Bicep curl?
Biceps and triceps.
Oh, couldn't tell. How much gold is in it?
Backfield to me. Have you not seen like the jewelers when they sell like all those chains?
Yeah, like all together? Yeah.
So it's not too much. Walking back. I got hooked up to Paul Wall, and then I got.
You know Paul Wall?
Well, yeah, but then I got connected to Johnny Dang.
Paul Wall still make music?
Yeah, bro.
Does he?
He does.
Rob the jewelry store and
Every
tell
time
him
he
make
talked
me
to
a
me, I was
grill.
like, what it do, baby?
It's the Iceman. Pow wow.
That's literally
Got
what
my
he
mouth
like,
looking
what it
something
do,
like a
baby?
disco ball. If we're going to this field, we got like a little catch, some ground balls. Excited to get back on the field and compete. It's always good to see the guys again too. So we got a lot of historical players that have come through here and a lot of sick alumni. So Petey's here today. It's pretty cool feeding the Petey. Thanks, Petey. Appreciate it. Good job, boys. Good job.
Man, I love that.
Yeah, it's cool as hell, man. It's just cool to see, them all interact together. Like I said, this brings a different light to the game. Shows that they're actually people too. They're not just players that go out there to play a game. They have lives as well, personalities, everything.
Yeah, and man, I loved how he was like, man, I get to turn a double play with Petey, in spring trading. It's like, man, like that's stuff that you can only sit there and dream of sometimes, like Petey's just down there with him. Like Ortiz was supposed to show up, I think today or tomorrow. Like, man, like the Sox are one of the few teams that I know that the alumni are part of the organization for life. Pedro's there, Ortiz is there all the time. Veritek's part of the team. Petey's there when he needs to, because the connection he has with AC.
Yeah, that's got to be cool. I mean, you look at Verdugo the first time he met David Ortiz, it's like a goddamn little kid, which is cool to see. So I can only imagine, these are Major League Baseball players that are starstruck by guys that are spending time going back to help their old organization. So that's got to mean a lot to them. It's really awesome to see them, given the guidance, given their insight, stuff like that.
Yeah. So, man, I want more mic'd up. Man.
Absolutely.
But being a catcher, like when I played a little bit, man, mic up a catcher. Because I don't know if they could, though. Because when I was a catcher, I used to talk crap. I used to talk crap all the time to the batters. So I would love to sit there and hear a catcher mic'd up just to see and hear what he sits there and says to the batters. You know what I mean?
I wonder if they would even, that'd be cool to see. I would love to see that. But I don't know if Major League Baseball would want that, because that way you'd be hearing a lot of the insight from the umpire and what they're saying. And I don't know, maybe they don't want that out. I could be wrong, though, because there has been times where managers were mic'd up and you heard. I think it was Terry Collins a couple years ago when he was Mets manager. He was mic'd up and he got an argument and got thrown out, which was really cool to see. But you don't see it too often. So I wonder if that's something that the MLB kind of just nixes right away. And they're like, nah, you guys can mic anybody else up there and, the Sunday night games, but probably stay away from catchers. But I don't see why that would be an issue during spring training, though.
Yeah. So last topic before we answer a couple questions that got sent out to us. The 2023 AL East standings. We're going to do it a little differently this time. We're going to start in the basement and work our way up.
All right.
Okay?
I'm going to surprise people with this list.
I'm going to start it out. Last place in the AL East. A record of 77-85. The Tampa Bay Rays.
I have Tampa Bay in the basement as well for the AL East, and I have them at 82-80.
Ooh, okay. Number 4, I'll let you go.
Number 4, I have the Baltimore Orioles at 87-75.
Ooh. I also have Baltimore at 84-78.
Okay. Who do you got for 3?
Number 3, I told you before. I've told you a million times. I even told you when it was predicted the record. 86-76. Our Boston Red Sox.
I have Boston as well, and I have them going 91-71.
Ooh, okay. Number 2. Who do you have?
I have the New York Yankees going 93-69.
Oh, so really close to the Red Sox.
Yep.
I
I'm
also
gonna get
had
some
the
flack
Yankees.
for that. I know that, but
I also had the Yankees at 92-70.
okay.
And that means
So we're one game off on that one.
Overall, the Toronto Blue Jays will take the AL East at 100 wins, 62 losses.
Obviously, I have Toronto as well. I have them at 96 wins, 66 losses.
Man, okay. Between first and fourth, what's the games behind right there? Because they're all really close.
So Toronto, obviously in first, and then Yankees 3 games behind. The Red Sox 5 games behind, and the Orioles will be, I projected, 9 games behind in 4th place.
Wow, that's pretty close.
I have I have a lot of I have all the teams winning at least 82 games. I know that's pretty bold, but that division's unreal. Tampa Bay, they've shown that they might not be the best talent, but they put it together. They have a great manager. They have a great front office. They know how to put the pieces where they need to go. They don't have that superstar, I would say. I mean, Wander Franco I think he's unfairly overrated at this point. Don't get me wrong, he's going to be amazing, but I think a lot of people expect too much out of him. I've heard a lot of people, read a lot of stuff on Twitter that he's not what they thought he was, and I think he's only 22 at this point. You know what I mean? He's got plenty of time. I think he puts it all together this year. But and Baltimore, their young guys coming up are unreal. Grayson Rodriguez, Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman came up last year. He's going to be a force behind the plate for years to come. He hits for average. He'll hit you at 20 home runs. And then obviously you have New York. You know what they can do as far as offensively. They got Aaron Judge. I don't really trust their pitching. That's why I kind of put them at 2nd place and not too far over Boston, even though Boston has a lot of questions. But Toronto, I think, is hands down the most talented team in that division. You look at their lineup; it's from top to bottom. You know what I mean? Rotations there, so that's kind of where my head was at when I was kind of doing these, putting them together.
Man, I'm right with you, but I'm not as worried about New York Yankees hitters. I think their pitching. They just signed Rodon in the offseason. I think they're starting pitching as long as Garrett Cole doesn't have to face Devers every time, because Devers is Garrett Cole's poppy. I sit there and their pitching staff is not too bad. Their hitters
just they have a lot of injuries in their pitching staff.
Yes.
That guy what's his name?
Italian?
They traded for him from Oakland last year.
Oh,
Manoah? Or is Manoah? Anyway, they gave him that big, or they got him. His
Sean.
shoulders all jacked up. Yeah,
Sean Monero.
Manoah and
Yeah.
But yeah, Cole and Rodon are gonna be the anchors of that rotation. Rodon, though, he's amazing. He gets hurt a lot. So yeah, they put a full season together. Cole doesn't face Devers one time. Yeah, I think they win 100 games, but it's a lot. But yeah, their offense is kind of it's hit or miss. They're gonna hit the home run or they're gonna strike out. Giancarlo could strike out 15 times in 15 at bats, but then jack 20 straight home runs, and it is what it is.
Yeah, I think the two most exciting teams behind Toronto to watch this season will be Boston and Baltimore.
I agree.
Boston is going to be that lineup where you watch because of what magic can happen this year, and Baltimore is because they got hey, we don't care. We're a bunch of young guys that will just go out and have fun, and win while doing it. So, man, I love the AL East standings we have, but we got a few questions that need to be answered. Question number 1 was from another podcast, Inside the Sox Podcast. He asked us, do you guys think Valdez will crack the opening day roster? Now, earlier we were talking and giving our other guys to fill out our roster for opening day. I really, really think Valdez has a really good reason to make that opening day roster. Valdez so far in spring training played all 5 games, 7 at bats, 3 runs, 2 hits, 1 home run, 1 RBI, 4 walks, but also he has 4 strikeouts. Batting .286 and on base percentage of .545. So he's patient, but he also will strike out. But that glove helps him tremendously. I honestly can say if he is not on the opening day roster, he should get called up by spring training, all-star break. And he might be a part of the team, especially if somebody goes down, God forbidden, if Arroyo gets hurt or if Kike gets hurt, Mondesi might not be ready. He could definitely get the call up real quick.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he'll crack the roster outside of spring training personally, not because he's not doing well. I just think we have just too many pieces that we can't send down right now. We got to figure out, but he'll be up by All-Star break, I think. And I think depending how things go, he could be the starting second baseman, or I think he'll get slotted in there, or if Kike struggles or gets hurt, throw him in shortstop. But I mean, I think he had 22 home runs combined in 2021, and then I think it was 35 or 36 last year between the 3 leagues he played in, and like 107 RBIs. He has a power, and he doesn't really. He actually hits pretty decent, as far as average. Last year he hit 296 across the 3 leagues, 296, 35 home runs, and 107 RBIs. I'll take that all day. I mean, I hated to see Vasquez go, but it's nice to get a piece back from the Astros like him, especially with our uncertainty with Mondesi. He's coming back from an ACL injury. That might not work out. Trevor Story's a question mark for this season. Best case, he comes back, late in the season. Worst case, he's not out at all. Arroyo gets hurt. Kike gets hurt. Hell, Devers gets hurt. I think we could do a lot. And I'm pretty sure he could play left field. I think he's third baseman, second baseman, and has left field in his repertoire.
Yeah. Man, watching spring training, not to get off topic a little bit, but watching spring training, and we're going to be talking about this on the next episode, who we think the breakout star is going to be from spring training. We're going to each highlight a player, and man, there is so many. If you look at we have a problem with our middle infield now with injuries. But man, you look 2-3 years from now, you got Valdez, Fitzgerald,
Rafaela,
Nick Sogard. Man, we got a lot of people. Hamilton's that guy that people don't know about or don't talk about. Like, we're gonna have a problem in a couple of years. But we're going to have too many people to play that middle infield. And right. I love that idea. So shout out to them to sit there and inside the Sox podcast for asking that question. Our next question, we got, of course, this guy is from Canada, Christopher Butt. And he sits there and asks, why are the Blue Jays so much better than the Red Sox? So
You want to take this or you want to go first?
I'll go first. Just because the Blue Jays, unlike the Red Sox, they can withstand an injury, and they have that next man up mentality where, man, they have just so much talent on their roster where they can go and get an injury. Last year, I think that, man, they sit there and they had so many people that they traded away a few, but man, they had like 4 or 5 outfielders that could play multiple positions, and the vibe in Toronto. Don't get me wrong, Boston knows how to party, but up there in Toronto, man, they got that young core. They got, as our man Jared Carrabis says, Vladdy Wagon. Man, he's out there with that big donk, crushing home runs. You got Bo Bichette. Who else do they have up there still? Kirk, their catcher.
Yeah, Kirk. They traded for Merrifield last year. They signed Kevin Kiermaier in the offseason. Yeah, I mean, their lineup from top to bottom is insane. And then their pitching backs it up too. They just signed Chris Bassett. Gosman's been unreal for him. Alek Manoah. Yeah, we screwed that up. Alek Manoah is actually on the Toronto. That's what was screwing me up. But they're just complete across the board. They have the bullpen. They have, like I said, just top to bottom lineup is scary as hell. And their starting rotation, they don't need to score a lot of runs, but they're gonna score a lot of runs. And they have the rotation to strike guys out, eat the innings, go out for 7 innings, kick it to the bullpen. They're gonna be a fucking problem. Yeah, they are better than the Red Sox. I'll come out and say that. But as we know, being better on paper doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win the World Series. You know, look at the 2012 Red Sox before it all went to shit. I mean, they won the series the next year, but, you know, the Adrian Gonzalez, Carl Crawford, you know, stuff like that. You got the best, you know, players on the paper, but they got to come out and they got to perform. But they've shown they can perform. Whit Merrifield wasn't the player that he was in Kansas City. And I think he comes out and has another comeback year. I think he could be comeback player of the year. He'll go out and steal 35, 40 bases and hit you 20 home runs. I think he's going to be an issue. They just got Varsho from Arizona. So, and he can play catcher and he plays outfield and he hits for average, he hits for power. And Kirk, he came out of nowhere last year. I think he had like 16 home runs, 87 RBIs or 67 RBIs, something like that. Their lineup is very scary. Their rotation's scary. Their bullpen can hold it together. So I'm not really looking forward to facing them, but thank God we're not facing each AL East team 19 times like we did before with the schedule changes and how they switched everything up. But hands down, very scary lineup.
Man, and you didn't even mention Brandon Belt.
Yeah.
You haven't mentioned Chapman.
Yeah. Vladdy.
You know.
I don't even need to mention Vladdy. He's a goddamn given.
Biggio.
Yep.
Like they got George Springer.
Yep.
Like Toronto
their lineup's unreal, man.
Is unreal. And people, like, I always wondered, what are they going to do to keep that intact? Because Bichette's going to want to get paid. Biggio's going to get paid. Vladdy's going to want to get paid. But then I go and look at the San Diego Padres throwing money left and right. And I'm like, well, that's how you sit there and keep your core. You know, you sign unreal contracts.
Yep.
So, but man.
Yeah, I don't understand what the hell they're doing, but I wish the Red Sox would take a page out of their book like they did back in the day. I hate to be the guy that's like, I want my team to spend money, but I want my team to spend fucking money.
Yeah. And, well, the number one topic all this season is going to be where's Ohtani going? How much is Ohtani going to cost? And I'm going to end up getting tired of it by May.
I'm already tired of it. I think he goes to the Mets or the Padres. I think the Mets and Padres both offer him over $500 million. And the Padres even said, even if they sign Ohtani in 2 years, they plan on breaking the bank again for Soto when he's up for an extension before his opt out. I think Ohtani goes San Diego or New York Mets.
Hey, I love how he went in the sponsorship with New Balance now. That's a Boston home. I would love for him to come. I would love for him.
I would obviously be fucking stoked if he came, but I don't see John Henry shelling out $500-600 million. I just don't see it.
So, well,
I
guys,
just want to end up on the Yankees.
Oh, anybody with the Yankees. But guys, this is another great episode in the books. Make sure you head right over to the YouTube, search the Pesky Podcast, and subscribe, where you can sit there and watch our podcast live. We're going to be having some guests on soon. Hey, hit the subscribe button. Tell everybody about us. A few topics we're going to be talking about in the next episode. We're going to be talking about Chaim Bloom and how safe is his job. We're going to be talking about spring training. We're going to highlight somebody that caught our eye in spring training so far. And also, we're going to do a little fantasy baseball where DC and I are going to go back and forth. And we are going to put together a fantasy baseball team with the Boston Red Sox, players only. This and so much more. Make sure you check us out and download. DC, any final thoughts?
I got nothing, man. Enjoy the weekend. Episode 4 also will be done this weekend, so look out for those. Like, share, subscribe, tell your friends. See you again.
Hey, my final thought is, man, why won't the women listen to our podcast? My woman refuses to.
Hey,
Like,
my
come
wife
on.
does, but she doesn't at the same time.
Just give me a little support. Like, I'm like a brawl. I'm there to support you. Come help me out. But guys, see us next time on the Pesky Podcast. Peace.
Deuces.